Good evening, students. Welcome to Sankalp learning classes. So, from today, we are going to start the new chapter, that is organisms and populations. So, this chapter, ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಇಕಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಡ್ ದ ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, so organisms and populations, so this chapter that comes under the ecology. Okay, so before going to start the chapter, so what is the meaning of ecology? So ecology andre enu gottirbekalva. So organisms and population ee chapter ecology alli barutte. So then what is ecology? Ecology andre enu? Ecology means, so it is the branch of science which study, we can also say that it is the branch of biology which deals with the study of interaction among the organisms and interaction in between the organisms with the abiotic factors. Okay, so interaction between, which studies the, which deals with the interaction with organisms, interaction with the organisms, as well as interaction among the organisms and between the organism and between the organism and environment or abiotic factor in between the organism and environment. Okay, so how do you define the ecology? Ecology is a subject which deals with the, it is the, which studies the interaction among the organisms and between the organism and the environment, that is called as the ecology. Okay, then what is the meaning of organisms and population? So this ecology mainly concerned with 4 levels of biological organization like organisms. So this ecology that concerned with the 4 level of organization, that is organisms, population, community and biomes. Okay, so this ecology mainly concerned with the organisms, population, community and biomes. Then what is the meaning of this organism and population? You know that population, what is the meaning of organism? Means that is the individual organism, living organism. Okay, then what is the meaning of population? Hagadre population andre ಏನು ಅಲ್ವಾ? So populations meaning, so which is the group of species, group of species present in living in. Okay, so living in particular geographical area, geographical areas, and they share some common characters and they share the resources, and they interbreed. Very important, they interbreed. Then so interbreeding means that is the sexual reproduction. Okay, sexual reproduction. And also they compete for the same resources. Okay, so generally considered as a population. Here, so how do you define the population? Group of species living in a particular geographical area and they share the common resources, and interbreed means that implies the sexual, they perform the sexual reproduction among themselves and they compete for the same resources. Okay, so that is called as the population. So particular geographical area means the teak wood trees present in a dense forest, that is called as the teak wood population. Also we can call the rat present in a particular grassland, that is called as the rat population. Okay, so we can call deer population means the deer present in a particular forest area, that is called as the deer population. So like this, uh, the human beings present in a particular geographical area, that is called as the human population. Okay, so like this the population is the common word so that we use in our day to day life. Okay, so here these organisms and the populations, so they are living in the particular area and they cope with the environmental changes and the changes that occur in the environment, and they are able to adjust their they are able to survive in that environment, so that is called as the population. Okay, then this population that shows some attributes. So what are these population attributes? This population that shows some attributes, but individual person does not. For example, individual person individual person has or individual organism has birth and death. Okay, individual organism that takes birth and it has the death, but population that does not have the birth and the death. Okay, so here the population shows some attributes, so it has birth rate and the death rate. Okay, so that is the population attribute, so that we can observe in the population. And the population has the sex ratio, age pyramid and the population density. So these are the population attributes. So the population which has the birth rate, death rate, sex ratio, age pyramid, population density and the, so these all are the population attributes where this is not present in the individual. So in the individual organism we can observe the birth rate and the death rates. Okay, then so in individual organism, sorry, we can observe the birth and the death. So what is birth rate? The first attribute, that is the birth rate. Okay, so it is not birth rate. Okay, how do you define the birth rate? It refers to per capita births. For example, in a pond there are 20 lotus plants in last year. Okay, and through reproduction 8 new plants are added, hence the current population is 28. The birth rate is 8 by 20, that is 0.4 offering per lotus per year. So that is the 0.4 is the birth rate. Okay, so for example, so in a particular area 100 rats are present, so that is last year. Okay, that was in the last year, but this year they'll become 200. Okay, so you can see 100 new rats were developed. So how do you define the birth rate? That is new rats added 100 per 100. The birth rate is, that is 1. Okay. So like this we can say the birth rate, not the birth, it represents the birth rate. Okay. Is that clear? So this one is the first attribute of the population. Then the second one, death rate. Then what is the individual person has the death, the population that has the death rate. So it refers to a per capita deaths. Okay. So for example, you can understand by this with the example, 4 individuals in a laboratory population of 40 fruit flies died during a week. Hence, the death rate is 4 by 40, that is 0.1% of the individual per fruit fly per week. So, here total how many fruit flies were there? So, that is 40, and the fruit flies died per week. Okay. So per week, that is 440 by 4, that is equal to 0.1. Okay. So that is for per week. Okay. So that is for per week. So that is called as the death rate. So these both are very important attributes of the population, that is birth rate and the death rate. Then the very important is sex ratio. So what is this sex ratio? An individual person will be either male or female. Okay. So you know that the individual person either male or female, but the population has the sex ratio. Then what is this sex ratio? For example, 60% of the population is females and 40% are males. So in a particular population, for example, in a particular bird population, so here 60% are males and 40% are female. That is called as the sex ratio. So the individual organism that has the gender, that is male sex, that is male or the female. Okay. So that we have. So this is the sex ratio. Next one, the population attribute in that age pyramid. So you know that in a population, so that contains different age group. Okay. So for example, in a particular geographical area, in human population, they have different age group individuals, right? Some are uh, children and some are adults, some are aged group. So like this they have the different age group people. Okay. So if you consider the human population, for human population, the age pyramid generally show the age distribution. Okay, if you see the age pyramids, so it will show the age distribution of males and females. So both it will show for human population, age pyramids generally show the age distribution. How the in that population, how the age is distributed of males and females it will show. Okay. So either it may be growing or stable or declining. The pyramid that shows either it is growing or stable or declining. Okay. For example, in a particular geographical area, so if they are having the less aged group, then more younger ones, so then it is showing the It is expanding. Age group is expanding means whether it is growing, stable, or declining. So that represents the human populations. Okay. So expanding means what? Human population pyramid that is expanding means what? Means that is growing. Okay. So post reproductive. So if the population that have the less post reproductive age people, post reproductive means so they do not undergo the reproduction. For example, aged group people, so if they are less, they'll come in the top, that is the post reproductive age, and reproductive age, so that comes in the middle. So if the in a particular geographical area, pre reproductive means next they will become reproductively active years they'll have. So if the pre-reproductive peoples are more means population is more means that type of the pyramid that is called as the growing or expanding pyramid. Okay. So sorry. Yes. So the post-reproductive means aged group people are less and pre-reproductive peoples are more means that shows the expanding growth pyramid. Then second one is the stable. So stable age pyramid. Stable age pyramid means pre-reproductive also same, almost reproductive age is also same, post-reproductive is less. So this is almost similar. All three are almost similar. So that is called as the stable age pyramid. Then declining. Okay. So what is this declining? Declining means, so here you can see pre-reproductive age people are very less. Pre-reproductive population are very less, then that is called as the declining means the population age, so that the age group that is having the less a number of individuals of the pre-reproductive group, that is called as the declining age pyramid. Okay, so is that clear? So there are three types of the age pyramid. So based on the age, so based on the age and the number, so expanding also called as growing, and stable and declining. Okay, so that is the three types. That are the three types of the age pyramid. Next one, population size or population density. So this is the one more population attribute, population size or the population density. So how do you measure the density? So it is the number of individuals of the species per unit area or the volume. How do you measure the population density? For example, in a 10 kilometer area, so only 100 people are living in the 10 kilometer area. That is called as species per unit area or the unit volume. So that is called as the population density. See here, population density of Siberian cranes at Bharatpur wetlands in any year is more than 10 only. It is so only almost 10 or more. Okay. So in a particular area, only 10 plus species are living in that area. So you can say that which has the less density per unit volume. But if you see the chlamydomonas, okay, so here you can see the same particular area. So this is the same area. You can see the chlamydomonas in a pond. So that is millions of chlamydomonas you can see, right? millions of chlamydomonas, chlamydia, chlamydomonas, you can see, means, so that is called as the number of chlamydomonas per unit volume, that shows the density of the population, that shows the population size. Then, for example, population size is also measured in the percentage of cover or the biomass. Okay, so here one more example is given here. Always the population density, so that will not satisfactory. Okay, so here for example, in a area 200 parthenium plants are there in a particular area. Okay, so in a particular area, so just imagine this is one area. In this area, only 200 parthenium, that is the carrot grass, are there, and only one banyan tree is there. So we cannot say the banyan tree is less, and yes, we can say banyan, only one banyan tree is there, the population density is less, but the contribution of this banyan tree is more than this parthenium. So we can use the biomass in this way. Okay, so in an area 200 parthenium plants and huge banyan tree are seen. In such cases, measuring percentage cover or biomass is meaningful to show the importance of the banyan tree. So this, to show the importance of the banyan tree, so that is the biomass is the correct way to represent this. Okay, so biomass means to measure the weight of that, wet weight of that plant. Okay, so that is the that shows the importance of the banyan tree. So we can use the population, we can use the percentage cover or the biomass to show the importance of the banyan tree. Okay, instead of the this population density. Total number is difficult to measure for huge population. For example, fish population in a particular river, or the number of animals present in a particular area. So that is difficult to measure the exact number. But we use, in such cases, what we use, relative population density, means not exact number. Without knowing the absolute population density, we use the relative population density. Then what is this relative population density? So it is used, for example, the number of fish caught per trap indicates the total population density in the lake. So just imagine, so in a particular area, the number of fish caught trap, so that indicates how many, just guessing. Okay, so for example, 100 fishes were caught in a particular area, so we may guess how many are present in the rest of the area in that water. So like that, we can use the relative population density, not exact, relative population density we can use. Okay, so in some cases, indirect estimation of the population size is performed. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ. ದೆನ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಸ್ಟಿಮೇಷನ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಟೈಗರ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಎಲಿಫೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಲಯನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ದೇ use the some fecal pellets or pug marks etc. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಫೀಕಲ್ ಪೆಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಫಗ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅವುಗಳ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಗುರುತಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಗುರುತನ್ನು ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ದ ನಂಬರ್, ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್. ಸೊ indirect estimation that is called, so that is called as the relative population density. So these all are the population attributes. So ಯಾವ್ಯಾವುದು? Population size or density, then age pyramid. Age pyramid also a population attribute where the individual organism does not show the age pyramid. Then sex ratio, death rate and the birth rate. So these all are the population attributes. I hope this topic is clear ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. Next topic is population growth. So what is this population growth? How we can define the population growth? The population size changes depending on the factors like food availability, predation and the pressure. Okay, so it changes according to the population growth, the increase in the number of individuals. So that depends on the availability of the food and change. It keeps changing. The population growth that keeps changing. So with the time, depending on the various factors like food availability of the food and predation and the pressure and the adverse weather. So it is flourishing or declining. So these all factors that is responsible for the population growth. Okay. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್, ಸೊ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಈಗ ಫುಡ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿಕ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಫುಡ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್. ಫುಡ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸೊ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲೆಸ್ number of individuals. So predation, so for example some organisms they will be prey for some higher organisms. So predation, pressure and the weather, very important, weather. Some organisms they are not able to tolerate the environmental changes ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಟಾಲರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸೊ ದ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. Changes in population density give some idea about the population, whether it is flourishing or declining. So the population density in show ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. So either it is growing or it is declining. So it will, the population density show this about the flourishing um, or declining. Okay. Four basic processes that fluctuate the population density. So four important processes. What are these four important processes that fluctuate the population growth? The first one is natality. So what is natality? It is the number of births in a population during the given period. So within a 5 months, okay, 5 months ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತ್ ಆಗಿದೆ? within a 5 month how many birth takes place? So that is called as the natality. Okay, so that is represented as B. B represents the natality. Then second one, that is mortality. So it is the number of deaths in the population during the given period. So in this 5 months, how many number of individuals they are dead. Okay, so that is the mortality. Immigration, so not only birth and death that affect the population size, that population density. So immigration and emigration also affects the population density. It is the immigration means it is the number of individuals of the same species that have come to the habitat from elsewhere during the given time period. For example, 5 months ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, the same species, okay, the same individual species come from ಎಲ್ಸ್ವೇರ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದಾನೋ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಬಂದು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಮಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಮಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ who left the habitat and gone elsewhere during the given time period. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ number of individuals that emigrate, that move from that habitat in a given particular time period. So these four factors that fluctuate the population density. So here natality and immigration, so that helps for the increase of the population density, and mortality and emigration is more means that shows the decrease of the population density, because number of individuals become less in case of mortality and the emigration, and number of individuals become more in case of the natality and the immigration. Then the natality and immigration increase the population density, and mortality and emigration decrease the population density. Okay, so that we know. If n is the population density at the time t, then its density at time t plus 1. Okay, so after 5 months, after 1 year, 5 months, like this. So equation we can give: n is the population density, then in a particular time t plus 1 is the density at the time t plus 1. So n t plus 1, so that is nt plus b plus I minus d plus e. Okay, so nt that represents the population density at the time t. For example, population density ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು 10 ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so population density after um, 5 months. So population density after 10 10 months, 10 plus 1 ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಈ ಒಂದು ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎನ್ ಟಿ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಐ, ಬರ್ತ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇಮಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್, ಸೊ natality plus immigration minus death minus emigration. So it gives the population density increases more than the D plus C, otherwise will be decrease. So if the B plus I is more, if B plus I is more than the D plus E, then we can say the population density is increasing. If the D plus E is more, then we can say the population is decreasing. Okay. Next one, population growth. You know that under normal condition, birth and death rates are important factors influence the population density. So normal condition ಅಲ್ಲಿ birth ಮತ್ತೆ death rate ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, so that influence the population density. Immigration and emigration have importance only under the special condition. Example, for colonizing new habitat, immigration may be more significant to population growth than the birth rates. Okay, so these immigration and emigration that also affect the population density. Then growth models, you know that um, in India or in world, the human population that is increasing, right? So that shows the increasing model. Here we have been concerned about the unbridled human population growth. So human population that is growing rapidly, so it creates some problems in our country also, right? And it also and it is therefore natural for us to curious about the other organisms, how the other organisms grow. You know that human population, they are growing very fastly, okay? But what about the other organisms? That is the natural curiosity, okay? So if different animal population in a nature behave same way, so same like an human beings, or they restraints on the growth, okay? So there are two models of growth, so we are studying here. One is the exponential growth, another one is the logistic growth, okay? So same thing we are studying about the human beings. So that is the human population is increasing rapidly in our country. Is it same for all the animals and organisms, or it is different? So that is the natural way of curiosity that comes to us, okay? Then the first type growth model, that is the exponential growth. So what is this exponential growth? Exponential growth means if the resources like food and space are essential for the unimpeded population growth, if resources are unlimited, each species show its full innate potential to grow in a number, then the population grows in an exponential or geometric fashion. So see here, so ಒಂದು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೇನ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು? ಫುಡ್. Okay, so availability of the food and the space. So this is the basic things needed to increase the number. So if the organism that is having the enough space and enough nutrients and food, then it shows the rapid growth. See here, so this is the paramecium colony. So day zero only one paramecium was there, but when it is provided with the nutrients in a culture plate, nutrient and lot of space, you can see how the paramecium growth takes place in that particular space. So they are growing rapidly because of the food and space. The population grows in a exponential or geometric fashion. So you can see exponential growth here. So the growth is exponential like this, that is very rapidly it takes place. If the population size, that is n, the birth rate per capita, that is b, and death rate, that is small d, then increase or decrease in the population size during the given time period, means changes occurs during a particular time period, that we write as dn by dt, okay? Change in the population density at a particular time. So that is affected by birth and death into population size, okay? So here rate of change of population density at a particular time period, here b minus d, so that will be taken as r, then r into n. So this r shows the intrinsic growth rate. R means intrinsic rate of natural increase, okay? So birth minus death means that is the increase, natural rate of increasing, right? That is called as r, intrinsic rate of natural increase. Intrinsic rate of natural increase, birth minus death, that shows the r. So if you draw the graph population density in the y-axis and time at the x-axis. So it show the exponential growth, means it is growing rapidly. That shows the d rate of change of density is equal to r into population density. So that shows the exponential growth, that graph. Okay, so this is called as exponential growth when the space and food is available rapidly. That is called as the exponential growth. The R is the intrinsic rate of natural increase. It is an important parameter for assessing impacts of any biotic or abiotic factor on the population growth. So it shows the normal increase of the population density. So here for Norway rat, which has the normal, that is the intrinsic rate of natural increase is 0.015, and floor beetle that has the 0.12, and human population in India that shows the natural increase that is 0.0205. Okay, that is the R value for this population. Then the integral form of the exponential growth equation will be like this. That is nt is equal to n naught into e raised to rt. So this is the integral form. So nt population density after time t, n0 population density at time 0, and r that is the intrinsic rate of natural increase, and e the base of natural logarithm. Okay, so that is the integral form of this equation. Then the second growth model, that is the logistic growth model. So you know that there is no population in nature having the unlimited resources for the exponential growth. There is no population which is having the enough space and enough food, means extra, having the unlimited source of food for the exponential growth. That is not suitable. That is not as much as real. Okay, that exponential growth is, that is not that much real. So this leads to the competition among the individuals, and limited resources. Eventually the fittest individuals survive and the reproduce. So in the logistic growth ಏನನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ that much space and food available for the organism. There should be a competition. There is a competition, right? So which one is fittest, that will survive. Not all the organisms which are produced, they will not survive. So only fittest will survive. That is the important feature of the logistic growth. In nature, a given habitat has enough resources to support a maximum possible number, beyond which do not further grow is possible. It is called as the carrying capacity. So what is this carrying capacity K? Here K means, so in a nature, in a particular habitat, so which carry the particular number of organisms, not more than that. So that is called as the carrying capacity, that is K. Okay, so that is very important. So here this line that shows the carrying capacity means more than this, no organisms able to survive in that particular geographical area. So here Warhol's per logistic growth is described as rate of change of population density, that is equal to the intrinsic rate of increase and the population density, K minus N divided by K. Here K means that is the carrying capacity, R is the intrinsic rate of natural increase, that is the B minus D, that is equal to R, N is the population density at a time. So at a particular time, what is the population density of that time period? So that shows the equation. For most animal population, resources for growth are limited. So the logistic growth model is more realistic. So logistic growth model. So when you draw the population density versus time graph, so I will show the logistic, that is the sigmoid curve is obtained. So it shows this equation. So that is the logistic growth. Okay. Population evolve. Population to maximize their reproductive fitness or Darwinian fitness. Okay, so under a particular set of selection pressures, organisms evolve towards the most efficient reproductive strategy. Okay, so some organisms breed only once in their lifetime. So, for example, Pacific salmon, fish, and bamboo, while others breed many times, most birds and mammals. Some produce a large number of small sized offsprings like easters, pelagic fishes, while other produce small number of large sized offsprings like birds and mammals. So these facts indicate that life history traits of organisms have evolved due to the limited abiotic and biotic components of the habitat. So according to the Darwin, so these all factors, some are producing the less number of individuals and some are producing the more, that is based on the availability of the components like biotic and abiotic components in the habitat. Okay, so here some are producing the small number large sized organisms, some are large quantity but smaller organisms. So these all are depending on the availability of the biotic and the abiotic component in the habitat. Okay, then the population interactions. So how the you know that ecology means it is the study of the interaction among the organisms and with the biotic with the abiotic factors also. Here population interaction, organisms interact various way to form a biological community. So interaction between two species is called as interspecific interaction. Interspecific interaction. So here different types of the population, how they are going to interact with particular organisms of the different species. So that is the first one is mutualism, competition, predation, parasitism, commensalism and the amensalism. So these are the six different types of the population interaction we are studying in this chapter. Okay, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, mutualism. What is the meaning of mutual? Mutual means both, alva. So mutual means both species are benefited. So if two species are there, so they are interacting with among them, so both are benefited. Okay, so ಎರಡು species ಕೂಡ benefit ಆದ್ರೆ that is called as the mutualism. Okay, competition means both species are harmed. Here because of that competition, so here you can see the symbol minus minus. If the both species are competing for something, if both species are harmed, that is called as the competition. Predation, one predator is benefited, the prey is harmed. Means predation means the one organism that depends that catch the another organism prey for its food. So it gets the food, one organism is benefited, but the other species that is harmed. So that is called as the predation. And another one is parasitism. So here the parasite is benefited, means so which get the essential nutrients and food from the host, but the sometime host is harmed. Okay, the host, it may get some diseases, or sometime it may lose it nutrients also, like that the host is affected. Then commensalism, one is benefited but other is unaffected. So here one species that is benefited, it gets some benefits from other, but other species that will not get any benefit, but neither it is harmed also. Okay, that is unaffected. So that is called as the commensalism. And the last one is the amensalism. So that is one is harmed, other is unaffected. So the one organism is harmed and another is unaffected. You can see the symbol -0. Okay, so these are the some population interactions we are studying in this chapter. So in predation, parasitism, and commensalism, the interacting species live closely together. So they are living closely one species with the another. Okay, so this type of the interactions we can see in the population. So in detail, we are studying about these all population interaction in detail. Okay, so that is in the next class. I hope this class is very useful for you people. I hope you like this class. If you have any doubts, just don't forget to comment in the comment box. Okay, thank you, dear students. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.